What matters is what comes next. So let's cut through the politics and get to the options and what they could mean. Peter Beinart is here. He's the senior political writer for the Daily Beast and a senior fellow with the New America Foundation. Peter, welcome to New Day. It's great to have you, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
So what are we looking at? Let's lay out the options. What is probably the first and best option for the United States?
I mean, the tragedy here is that we don't have a lot of leverage, and the horse is really out of the barn. I mean, our point of maximum leverage would have been right after the coup if we had put U.S. aid on the line. Now, hindsight is always 20/20, but perhaps at that point we could have kept the military from going down this path of a violent confrontation. Now that they've gone to that path, it seems to be almost impossible in the short term to imagine a political reconciliation between them and the Brotherhood. All we can do now is plead for restraint.
All right, so let's distinguish. Would have been better or was a failure? The United States not calling it a coup, not taking bold action?
Look, again, we can't know what would have happened. It might have been that we just didn't have enough leverage to do anything, but in retrospect, we looked equivocal. Kerry unfortunately said that the military was restoring democracy in a really unfortunate gaffe, and the military didn't get the message from us that this was going to be a terrible option, and they went down that path.
All right, now, one of the things that we're seeing on the ground, hearing from our people, is that it seems both sides are angry at the United States. What does that mean going forward?
Well, I mean, this is what's really unfortunate, is I think that we were inevitably going to make the military angry by telling them we didn't support the coup. But we've also lost a huge amount of credibility and influence with not only the Muslim Brotherhood, but Islamists all over the world. I mean, the message for people, from Islamists now is the United States only supports elections where our side wins, and that we basically wink at coups, whether it's in Algeria or in Egypt, or whether when Hamas won, we wink at coups when it's against people we don't like. And that's a very disturbing message, I think.
Now, just as we saw with the Arab Spring, how one led to another in terms of a search for democracy, is there a concern that what happens in Egypt starts to spread in terms of rebound effects of different regimes trying to reclaim power? Do we see this as spreading?
Yes, I think that there's the possibility in Tunisia, where you also have an Islamist regime. And I think one of the real nightmare scenarios here is that you could have a regional conflict play itself out in Egypt as in Syria. So the Gulf states are very strongly like Saudi Arabia, very strongly backing the military. Turkey has been sympathetic to the Muslim Brotherhood. You could have regional powers starting to back, in the worst case scenario, with arms, a conflict between these different forces in Egypt, which is what we've seen in Syria.
Quick final answer to this one, Peter. What's the timetable here? When does the U.S. have to make a decision?
I think the U.S. has very, very little time, and I don't think we have much leverage. Our best hope would probably be to rally our regional allies, as in the Gulf, who might have a little bit more influence, to try to stop this from becoming a cycle of violence that really can't be stopped.
Peter Beinart, thank you very much for being
Pleasure.
with us on